Hi all, welcome to another video. So in this video, I'm going to explain in detail about infrared radiation or infrared radiation therapy. Coming to the introduction, infrared radiation is an electromagnetic energy invisible to the human eye. It is having a wavelength between 750 and 4 lakh nanometer and a frequency ranging between 4 into 10 raised to 14 hertz and 7.5 into 10 raised to 11 hertz. So in the electromagnetic spectrum, the infrared rays on the place between visible light and microwaves. So in the electromagnetic spectrum, infrared lies between the visible and microwaves. So it is used for the relief of pain and stiffness and to enhance the healing of soft tissue lesions and skin conditions by producing the superficial thermal effect in the tissues. So this is the electromagnetic spectrum and you can see here. So infrared lies in between the microwaves and the visible light. So this is the microwaves and this is the visible light. So infrared lies in between the visible light and the microwaves. So visible light, it is known as VIBGYOR. So coming to the production of IRR, any hot body can produce infrared rays like the sun, electric bulb, coal fire, gas fire, hot water pipes, etc. Sun is the natural source of infrared radiations. Infrared radiations can also be produced by artificial generators. In the physiotherapy departments, infrared rays are produced by two types of generators, that is non-luminous generators and luminous generators. So this is the non-luminous generator and this is the luminous generator, which I will be explaining in the upcoming slides. So this is the source of schematic representation for a better understanding of the source or production of IRR. So it can either come naturally from the sun or it can be generated artificially by the two types of generators, luminous generator and non-luminous generators. So non-luminous generators provide infrared radiations only, whereas luminous generators emit infrared, visible as well as ultraviolet radiations. Therefore, because they emit only IRR, non-luminous generators are termed as infrared generators. The heat produced by luminous generator is called radiant heat. So in non-luminous generators, they emit only infrared radiation. So non-luminous generators are known as infrared radiation generators. So coming to the luminous generators emit infrared, visible and few ultraviolet rays. Rays emitted from the luminous generators are produced by one or more incandescent or radiant lamps or bulbs. An incandescent lamp consists of a wire filament enclosed in a glass bulb which may contain a inert gas at low temperature or low pressure. Inert gas at low pressure. A part of the inside of the glass bulb is often silvered to provide a reflector. The filament is a coil of fine wire and is usually made up of tungsten. Because why tungsten? Because this tungsten material can tolerate rapid heating and cooling. So that's the reason why this filament, like fine wire, is usually made up of tungsten. The exclusion of air prevents oxidation of the filament, which would cause an opaque deposit to form on the inside of the bulb. The passage of an electric current through the filament produces heat, infrared, ultraviolet and visible radiations. So the ultraviolet is produced, which is absorbed by the glass of the lamp and therefore it is not emitted. The front of the bulb is usually red so as to filter out the short visible and ultraviolet rays. These lamps generally available with a power level of between 250 to 1500 watts. So this is the red. So the front of the bulb is colored in red in order to emit the infrared radiations only, rather than emitting the ultraviolet and UV rays, ultraviolet and visible rays. So the lamp available at this time generally emits IRR with wavelengths of between 350 to 4000 nanometer and with peak intensity at 1000 nanometer. The luminous generator is sometimes called radiant heat. The incandescent bulb is usually mounted at the center of parabolic reflector and the reflector is mounted on an adjustable stand. So this is all about the luminous generators. And coming to the non-luminous generators, Non-luminous generator consists of a single type of element or coil wound on a cylinder of some insulating material such as fire clay or porcelain. An electric current is passed through the wire, which results in the production of heat. This heat produces infrared rays which are transmitted through the porcelain. Porcelain gets heated by the method of conduction, but the radiations generated in this way also include some of the visible rays. Therefore, to avoid this, the coil is embedded in fire clay or porcelain or placed behind the fire clay. Now, the emission of rays is entirely from the fire clay, which is commonly painted black, and thus few visible rays are produced. The element or the coil is thus placed at the focal point of a parabolic or spherical reflector. The reflector is mounted on a stand and its position can be adjusted as required. In another type of non-luminous generator, a steel tube within which an electric coil is embedded on some material which is electric insulator but good conductor of heat is used. So this is the non-luminous generator with the stand. An electric current is passed through the central coil and thus heat is produced. The steel tube thus emits the infrared rays only. The construction of the outer part of the apparatus should be such that the reflectors and other part do not become excessive hot, and there should be wire mesh surrounding the element. So all of these non-luminous generators take some time to get heated up for the production of infrared radiations. So they should be switched on before 5 to 7 minutes of the treatment. So coming to the depth of the penetration of infrared rays, luminous generator produce infrared rays having wavelength between 350 and 4000 nanometer and can penetrate into the dermis and epidermis of the subcutaneous tissue, that is 5 to 10 mm. So luminous generator can penetrate up to dermis and epidermis of the subcutaneous tissues. And non-luminous generator produce infrared rays of wavelength between 750 to 15,000 nanometer, which can penetrate the superficial dermis only, that is nearly 2 mm. So the depth of penetration is more in luminous generator comparing with the non-luminous generator. The depth of penetration depends upon the wavelength and nature of the material. So thus, infrared rays produced from a luminous generator have more penetration power than produced from the non-luminous generator. So this is the different penetration power of the infrared as well as your ultraviolet rays. So coming to the indications, the main indication include your low back pain, post-immobilization stiffness, edema, muscle spasm, circulatory problems, connective tissue disorders. And coming to the contraindications, infrared radiation should not be applied to the areas of defective arterial blood supply, areas where there is a danger of hemorrhage, defective skin sensation, and directly over the eyes after deep X-ray or cobalt therapy, non-cases of tumors, severe cardiac conditions, acute infections, acute skin disease, example including your dermatitis, and eczema, and the superficial infections. And coming to the techniques of treatment, first is your choice of apparatus. In most cases, luminous and non-luminous generators are equally suitable, but in some instances, one proves more satisfactory than the other. So when there is an acute inflammation or recent injury, the sedative effect of rays obtained from the non-luminous generator may prove more effective for relieving pain than the counter-irritant effect of those from the luminous source. So in case of acute inflammation or recent injury, non-luminous generator should be used. So which will be more effective comparing to the luminous generator. So for lesions of more chronic type, the counter-irritant effect of the shorter rays may prove to be of value, and under the circumstances, a luminous generator is chosen. So in case of chronic conditions, we can use the luminous generators because of the more penetrating power, and in case of acute, we can use non-luminous generators. So comparing with the non-luminous and luminous, in case of acute conditions or recent injuries, non-luminous generators provide more effect comparing with the luminous generator. And selection of the generator according to the area to be treated is done. If only one surface is to be treated, a lamp of single element mounted on a reflector is used. If several aspects are required to be irradiated, a tunnel bath is more effective. And the temperature reached in a tunnel bath is higher than produced by other lamps, and this may be the advantage if chronic lesions are to be treated. Before application, the lamp should be checked to ensure that it is working correctly. Non-luminous generator must be switched on at adequate time before application. That is around 5 to 7 minutes before the treatment applications. And second one is arrangement of the lamp and patient. The lamp is positioned so that it is opposite to the center of the area to be treated, and the rays strike the skin at right angle, thus ensuring the maximum absorption. So maximum absorption is there if the skin and the lamp is positioned at the right angle. So the distance of the lamp from the patient should be measured. Optimum distance is around 45 to 90 centimeter depending upon the output of the generators. So in case of a non-luminous generator, if you are using means 75 to 90 centimeter, and if you are using non-luminous generator means or lamp means, we need to keep at least 45 to 60 centimeter away from the patient. So care must be taken that the patient face is not exposed to infrared rays. Eyes must be shielded to avoid this. So we need to use the protective goggles in order to avoid the radiation of infrared over your eyes. So for an acute condition, duration should be 10 to 15 minutes, and for chronic condition, it should be 30 minutes. So next is preparation of the patient. The position of the patient should be comfortable and adequately supported. Avoid undue movement of the patient. The cloth must be removed from the area to be treated, and the skin is checked for its sensation against heat and cold. It is unwise to give treatment if the skin sensation is found defective. So altered skin sensation is one of the contraindication for your infrared radiation. The patient is warned that he should experience comfortable warmth, and he should report immediately if the heating becomes excessive, as undue heat can cause burn. So undue heat burn is one of the danger of the infrared radiations. So he should be instructed not to touch the apparatus or not to move nearer to the apparatus in order to avoid the earth or electric shock. So next is your application of infrared treatment. At the start of the treatment exposure, the intensity of the radiation should be low. After 5 to 10 minutes, when vasodilatation has take place and the increased blood flow has become established, the strength of radiation may be increased. So this can be achieved by moving the lamp closer to the patient or by adjusting the variable resistance. The physiotherapist should be near to the patient throughout the treatment section and should reduce the intensity of the radiation if the heat becomes excessive. So if the radiation is extensive, it is desirable that the sweating should occur to counteract any excess rise in body temperature. The therapist should be near to the patient, and the patient should report any adverse effect or adverse heat coming to the particular treatment area. So at that time, the therapist will be reducing the intensity. Or suppose if the patient says intensity is less, means the therapist will be keeping the infrared radiation towards or moving near to the patient. So the distance will be decreased. So in order to increase the intensity. So sweating is encouraged if the patient is provided water to drink during the treatment. At the end of the treatment, the skin should be mild red, not excessively red. After extensive radiation, the patient should not rise suddenly from the recumbent position or go out into the cold immediately. And next is your duration and frequency of treatment. In case of acute inflammation or recent injuries, and for the treatment of wounds, an exposure of 10 to 15 minutes is adequate, but it may be applied several times during the day. In case of chronic conditions, longer exposure may be used. And next is your physiological effects. Infrared treatment produces heating effect in the superficial epidermis and dermis, thus resulting in vasodilatation, which increases the blood circulation in that area. This will lead to more oxygen supply and nutrient supply in that area, leading to drainage of waste products, resulting in relief of pain. The sedative effects on nerve endings leads to reduction in the muscle spasm. So these are the physiological effects, which include your cutaneous vasodilatation, sweating, increased sweating, sensation because of the increased sensation, increase in metabolism, decreased viscosity, consequent vascular changes, increased elasticity to the connective tissue, decreased formation of edema, decreased muscle tone, decreased muscle spasm, decreased oxygen supply to the cells. Coming to the therapeutic effects, it includes, first one is in relieving pain. So infrared radiations are effective in relieving pain. Mild heating on the superficial tissues by infrared radiation causes sedative effects on the superficial sensory nerve endings. Pain may be due to accumulation of waste products of metabolism and increased flow of blood through the part. Remove these substances and thus relieves the pain. The pain due to acute inflammation or recent injury is relieved most effectively by mild heating. When pain is due to chronic injury or inflammation, stronger heating is required. The treatment may last up to 30 minutes. So next therapeutic effect is in muscle relaxation. So relaxation of muscle is achieved by heating the tissues. Mild heating by infrared causes relaxation of muscles and thus relieves muscle spasm. Relief of pain also induces relaxation in the muscles and helps relieving muscle spasm associated with injury or inflammation. Relaxation of muscle provides greater range of motion to the exercising part as it relieves the muscular spasm. So next therapeutic effect is in increasing the blood supply. Infrared radiation increases the temperature in the superficial tissues, causing vasodilatation in the superficial tissues. It provides more WBC and fresh nutrients to the area being treated. It also accelerates removal of waste products and help bring about the resolution of inflammation. It is most beneficial in the treatment of various arthritic conditions of the joints, which leads to inflammation and stiffness. Next is your case of post-immobilization stiffness. Open wound and infections can also be effectively treated. Fresh supply of blood regenerates the tissues, removing the waste products of the metabolism and also relieves the muscular spasm. Next therapeutic effect includes an acceleration of healing and repair, edema reduction, reduction of joint stiffness. So these are the therapeutic effects. And coming to the dangers. So first danger including your burns. Excessive heating of the superficial tissues can cause burn. Sensation must be checked before starting the treatment. If sensation is not proper, the patient may not appreciate the extent of heating. The burn may be caused due to the following reasons. If the intensity of the radiation is too high, if the sensation is not proper, patient fails to report overheating, unconscious patient move closer to the lamp, or fall asleep during the treatment. The patient must be warned to inform undue heating immediately. The spacing must be reduced gradually in order to increase the heating. Impaired blood flow through the part, which may be due to some circulatory defect or due tight garments, reduces the circulation and this causes burn. So next danger include your electric shock. Electric shock can occur if some exposed part of the circuit is touched by the patient. Due to heating of the wires in the circuit, insulation of wires may go off and thus regular checking of wire is necessary to avoid electric shock. So next danger include your faintness or giddiness. Extensive irradiation may cause fall in blood pressure, which may result in faintness or giddiness due to hypoxia of the brain. This is particularly common when the patient rises up suddenly from the recumbent position after extensive treatment. And next danger include your headache. Irradiation of the back of the head may cause headache. Headache may also occur when the treatment is given during hot weather. Lot of fluid goes off the body in the form of sweating during treatment. Plenty of water needs to be replenished during or after the treatment, especially in hot water. Next danger include your gangrene. So the gangrene may be caused in the areas of defective arterial blood supply following prolonged irradiation by the infrared radiations. Arterial supply to the blood to the area being treated needs to be proper to avoid gangrene. And the last danger includes your injury to the eyes. Direct heating over the eyes causes drying up and this leads to corneal or retinal burns. Eyes need to be protected following treatment to avoid the injury. So in order to protect the eyes, we will be using the goggles. So by this, I'm concluding this video about infrared radiation. Thank you for watching this video. Please do share and subscribe this video to your physio friends and community. Thank you.